Hey, I'm just trying to set this up so that it doesn't fall. Ooh. See? Oh my goodness. All right. I'm not sure. Oh, Roxy's on. Hey, Roxy. Okay. I have been hiding and putting off doing this live for a while. And part of that was definitely inner Katie, who little inner Katie, baby Katie, who's just like, give me my privacy. What the hell are you doing talking all our biz to Instagram? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's fair. So I'm like, let's stop talking all our biz for a while. And I was happy with that, and that felt good. And I think I needed to do a lot of integrating. So the last conversation we had was around me choosing myself and me backing myself and this liberation that I feel, which is true. Like, honestly, it's fucking true. And yes, this title is As a Tough Girl, I Choose to Surrender, because I too absolutely fucking choose to surrender. And you just kind of can't really make this shit up. I haven't planned this. I've been so avoiding it. And if you've been following my stories, you've been seeing how much I've been hiding behind all these other posts from other people. So super uncomfy. This is still like the whole surrender, the tough girl facade thing is so not an easy one. Which is probably why, like, now as an over energy, anyone who's into traditional Chinese medicine, you get the over energy after you kind of get the little mask that comes down. Thank you, Kate. My darling Kate actually initiated somewhat of this surrender. I'm so grateful we got to connect yesterday, and she pricked something in my conscience that pierced through my ego, which I didn't even realize was my ego, and I didn't even realize that this was my shadow, and there was so much of my shadow, and I value just you honoring whatever the fuck your body wants to say. Thank you. And Kate said, you know, we were talking about this liberation and it's beautiful feeling, stepping forward, strong, moving forward, my own space. Been here before for me. There's another pattern that was happening that I hadn't seen. And Kate pricked that ego for me and said there's so much work to be done inside of a relationship. And there's a different element of the ego that you see. And that kind of sat with me. It hit me in a real different way. And I thought, you know what? I would be so out of alignment if I didn't entertain that also. And then going into somewhat of a meditative state on the Sunday and going, well, I really feel as though I'm being pulled to question a lot of my principles. Like a lot of these hard and fast, honestly, tough girl principles, we'll call them principles, fucking walls, but principles, boundaries, we could call them also, but principles that keep you stuck in your head, principles that you have reason behind and there's history behind and baggage behind. And it's a really great excuse for avoiding whatever the fuck is going on here, honestly. And Sunday brought me to that place. And I'm like, interesting. Well, I told Instagram world that this is where I am, and how is it that I'm questioning that I'm starting to come back to a place of surrender when I'm in this tough girl, wild woman, fucking free persona? How is that going to be perceived? Fucking scared. Sorry, lots of swearies this time around. I'm just going to let it out. Be fully expressed. Oh, so funny. So, allowed myself to just drop back into my body. And when that happened on the Sunday night, when I allowed myself to surrender to my body, And my little inner Katie was just like, fuck you, Katie. Fuck you, warrior Katie. Fuck you, tough girl Katie. And I had to honor her and listen to her and just honor where she was and surrender to it, because it's not always sunshine and fucking roses. And this isn't about avoiding pain. It's never actually about avoiding the pain. The pain is a gift. It's just a flag. It's like, hey, just pay attention here. This isn't working. All pain, even in your body. The pain in your body is talking to you about the pain in your soul. That's how we access it, is through our body. That's how we release it, is through our body. So I lent into the missing of this beautiful relationship that I had started and created with this beautiful man. And it was really hard, actually, to see how many walls I had put up around my own heart. And I hadn't known that. I hadn't recognized it because, I wouldn't call it necessarily toxic positivity because the intention is so beautiful behind it. But I would say I was just so used to being tough. I'm so used to just, well, this is what's required. It's not always an easy thing. Sometimes it's a suffering before a good thing. Like, maybe it's going to be even easier if I just wait, and just be on my own for longer. It'll be easier. Because fucking what? Alone is safe. Alone's safe. Because I can do alone, I can be on my own, and it's fucking bliss, and I love it. I fucking fell in love with myself, right? We saw that journey. Next is, holy shit, next is being able to love yourself enough to allow yourself to be fully seen by someone. Even all the fucking little scary bits. Even all the, I don't know, if I'm going to hurt you, I don't want to hurt you. This is so not my intention. And surrendering to that on the Sunday night. And allowing myself to rest. Surrendered. Fucking human. Choosing my human. I fucking chose it. Oh, and there was a satiation in allowing myself to feel that. And as I felt it, it lifted. It's as though allowing the heaviness of it just almost flushed through my body, and that my body felt relief enough to rest in peace. Even though nothing in the situation on the outside had changed. All that had changed was me allowing my body to feel something without me fully fucking judging it all. I can see my shadow and I'm like, oh, shadow. Fuck. Little Katie's been screaming at me saying like, oh, you're forgetting something. Like over here, what about over here? And my shadow's like, yeah, I'll just wait over here until you love me. And then you're like, oh, hey, shadow. Shit, I've been ignoring you for years. Come over here, let's have a chat. You have a fucking chat and you're like, okay, you're not such a dick. All right. Okay, let's give this a try. I play a lot with my healing. You gotta fucking play with your healing because it fucking plays with you. Anyway, I could go into a whole other thing. So I woke up Monday morning. It was raining still. There was so much rain. It was so frustrating. And I'm like, I think I'm going to get flooded in. I need to get the fuck out of here on Monday morning because I'd spent the whole day at home on Sunday meditating. And I'm like, get the fuck out. So I left early Monday morning and I'm like, I actually just miss my mate. I allowed myself to say, you know what, I just miss my best mate, Paul. And I just feel like chatting with him, like nothing, just chatting, just catching up. As soon as I allowed myself to surrender to that, he sent me a message saying, hey, I just miss my best mate. can we catch up and just chat? And I'm like, fucking oath we can. So I called him, we catch up, we're chatting. What happened next was beautiful in this coming back to just this playful, innocent, beautiful place where we were just two souls who were just trying to figure shit out. And the beach was so stormy and rainy, and there was hardly anyone around, and it couldn't have been more perfect. Because as we sort of went into this real vulnerability, and this isn't even just like a relationship vulnerability, this is just like this is me as a human, this is what I'm scared of, this is what I would love to see, this is the feeling I want to enrich my life with, and speaking into the consciousness of what our fears are and what our intention is, and just seeing each other as a human without an expectation of how we are to be or show up or anything. And it was the most beautiful thing ever. It was so innocent. I just feel like saying innocent because there was just so much raw purity and gentleness and innocence to it, and we became really playful, and we ended up going for a swim in the ocean, and then, different feelings start popping up, as you sort of can imagine. And I've got this relationship with the ocean, right, where this is the ocean I went to as a child, and I've done so much of my healing in this ocean. I'm here, getting these feels, and this man who's just completely changed the way I view men, also having been raised in such a patriarchal, misogynistic, holy shit, are you even kidding me? Narcissistic relationship for fucking 12 years, fuck me dead if that's not a fucking unicorn. Anyway, terrified the fuck out of the tough girl in me. It's whoa. So we're in the waves, and I'm I want to express to him how this particular time that he set this boundary, I was just holy fuck, I am so turned on by you right now. I wanted to say that to him. But the waves became more intense. And it's I kind of couldn't do it justice. So I'm holy shit, okay, there's something going on. I'm having a conversation with you and the waves are winning right now. Sorry, I think I need to shut up. So he gets my language. So he's that's annoying, whatever, cool, we'll talk later, but and so he got it. Legend. So we ended up coming back to the car, and just, he's my kid's dad had messaged and said that morning, and is hey, could I have the kids, the kids want to stay an extra 2 days, are you good with that? And I'm what? And Paul had a couple of days off, and we're very spontaneous. We like our routine, but then it's we have to go bush. So we're do you want an adventure? And I'm you know what? I really do want a fucking adventure. I just want to float. Let's just fucking float. And so we just were yep, fuck it, let's just go. So on this journey as mates, here we are. We're just talking, and we get to a situation which is really a trigger for me. And I'm this is a trigger for me. And then I talk about why it was a trigger. I talk about not feeling protected at different times by men in my life, and how that's why I feel I need to have this strong, tough girl. I fucking got this. I handled this. No matter what the fuck comes up, I just deal, because I just deal. I just fucking do, right? We all do. We just fucking deal with whatever happens. So expressing to him that you know, for me to have a man in my life, I feel like it needs, like, there's this like fine balance between really overprotectiveness and helping me feel safe, and then realizing actually this is so much more of a thing that I need to do within myself, and it's not more of the tough girl thing. It's like the more of the tough girl thing, the more unsafe I started to feel. It's like it was really good to a certain point, but now it goes past that to where it is actually harmful. And in, I think, my first podcast episode, I talk about, you know, this wild nature of us, of ourselves, and this wild nature really has to do with not being untamed, but it's about tapping into instinct and allowing instinct to guide you, which is really an embodied thing. And when you've been domesticated for so long, a wolf that has been domesticated, when it is allowed its freedom, will usually go and do things that will harm itself because it's so untapped from its natural wild instinct. But a wolf that is able to return or allow itself to find its own natural instinct will find its way without as much harm to itself. So it's not about other people telling you the structures. It's about tapping into your own instinct. Fucking letting go of all the reason, because it's not always reason. You're not going to work through everything here. You won't. You can't. Because that's not where everything's trapped. It's all literally here. It's the time you hit a trigger, and then that emotional trigger, what happens is it activates something in your body which releases a fucking chemical composition which your body is fucking familiar with. And then it literally brings you back in time to the time of the trauma. You know? So you are re-traumatized every time you get this trigger. So yeah, the tough girl comes in handy, like bringing on that archetype of the warrior is so important in so many ways. But I had been bringing this archetype into too many parts of my life, and it starts to withhold things, right? Because the warrior wants to protect, whereas the warrior in an approach where the lover is called, it's a mismatch of energy. And it wasn't honoring to myself. Holy shit, I get off on tangents. Okay, where were we? Okay, yeah, we were driving down. Okay, so it ended up being, I kid you not, there was omen after fucking omen that turned up, and I'm like, my stubborn Taurus fucking ass, it was like, no, that's weird. That's a coincidence. Like, don't see. And I'm like, he was so beautifully patient with me. Wow. It takes an incredibly strong man to be gentle enough to allow a tough girl her walls to fall. That's a strength that is so fucking admirable, and I fucking honor that. And it's fucking possible. It is fucking possible, ladies. Okay. So it took approximately from 8 in the morning when we caught up as buddies to like 4:44 in the fucking afternoon of non-stop conversations that were like fucking, like, we are pretty intense. We're pretty intense. In the sense that we really both enjoy being fully expressed. So we go into it until we both feel fully satiated that we've been heard. And holy shit, I'm like, you know, I'm terrified to tell him that I'm actually, like, I would really want to try again. But it's like, what if my tough girl thing comes out again? And I just like, and I realized I hadn't actually worked at a relationship properly. Not really with someone. I mean, I guess we tried when we were married, but that was very different. That was because we had kids. Holy shit, the kindest thing we could have possibly fucking done. It had I eaten? No. Oh, I'd Kate, you're a fucking legend. Yeah, I'd instinctively gone into a bit of a fast for like a couple of days. Why? Oh, wait. Do you mean sexually? No, I haven't also, so there was also a fast going on there. Which was nice. Not a self-fast. Holy shit, smorgasbord. But in any case, holy shit, divergent. Okay, I overshare. So, at this stage, 4:44 was when, and this was after a long time of talking and the patience and the beauty of it and just stating so clearly. I was thinking it's a long conversation without food. It is. I'm sorry. I'm just going to get it out. It's coming. I'll get food later. I have had some cashews. Anyway, okay, so where was I? Yeah. So we were fully expressed. We talked into what it possibly would look like, where our expectations were so off with each other, and like the pressure of this, like the expectation of what we think a relationship should look like and how we should each approach it. And it's like, I have not been approaching it in my ideal way, and he hadn't been approaching it in his ideal way. And it's like, the more we were able to just sit and talk to each other as humans without like me fully showing and telling exactly what I want, like the vulnerability of it, the being fully seen of it. It's like, oh, then bless my fucking little heart. Bless her little heart. She finally fucking surrendered to her soul, to her fucking heart, and we're like, you know what? Fine. You can have your nice things now. This is kind of what it came to yesterday. I'm like, why did it take me 2 weeks of fucking, like, really not, that wasn't easy, I would call it. Like, feeling as though I had to fully end in this relationship to die in order to rebuild a new one. Why couldn't I have just learnt a little earlier? And it's like it's almost like a little spirit guide, little past, like, ancestors, like, well, Katie, it's like, can't have nice things. Like, yeah, you're a slow learner. Anyway, I thought that was funny. So Paul and I have decided to move forward to create, you know, just within ourselves, something that is beautiful and simple and just designed to us without the expectation of what everything looks like. And I kind of feel like I'm so glad I now have that off my back. Now that it's out there. I don't know why I have the compulsion to freaking share so much. Well, I mean, I kind of do. I've had my human design read and it kind of says it in there. So, but I hope someone learns something from this, because fucking sometimes, holy shit, the sex after you sort of surrender your tough girl. I'm just saying, it's pretty awesome. And like a week into it, it's kind of freaking blissful. And I mean, it's a week since we've been playing in this little new little container, but I'm enjoying it. I'm grateful. I'm feeling really grateful. I'm feeling really like, I woke up at around 1 the other night, and I have my notepad here. I love this. Oh, I love this stuff. So I woke up in the middle of the night the other night, and it's so interesting because I've become so present to so many of these patterns in my life, and anyone who's joining the spiritual sovereignty, that's what we're tapping into. Like, you're literally learning how to interpret all the different things that show up by nature. I love it. So I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was almost as though it felt like a transition stage from a place of seeking trust or being terrified to extend trust outside of myself, and going, oh wow, that's actually showing a real mirror to the distrust that I still have within myself. Because if I can't fully open myself and allow myself to be fully seen, then I can't trust whatever the outcome of that might be. So therefore I'm never fully seen or fully loved. So the other night when I woke up at 1 o'clock, I journaled quite a bit, which felt great. And then simply right at the end, and I should put a photo up of it. My handwriting's terrible. Apologies. But at the end, I just wrote trust. I am safe and we are safe. And I say we are safe because as a single mum, that kind of goes hand in hand. The I am safe, we are safe. And then as ever, I end it with a thank you and a little love heart in my notebook. So, see, trust. And my handwriting's terrible and it's all back to front. I'm safe, we are safe. Thank you. And then my love heart. Yes. I need to clean my fingernails. So tough, girls. Let's chat. In what way is this tough girl perhaps maybe it's overstepped its purpose and it's time to start sinking into your lover and allowing yourself a level of pleasure? And that doesn't just mean sexually. That means, how the fuck do you approach eating breakfast in the morning? How do you approach having a cup of tea? Are you a lover in your own life? How do you approach showering your body? How do you approach brushing your own hair? You know, dressing your body to infuse a sense of pleasure and ease and peace and safety. You have to be in a place of safety in order to feel pleasure. But if you want to feel pleasure, start infusing pleasure into as many places as you can. And then because you're feeling pleasure, your central nervous system will calm down so much and it'll literally say, hey, I'm safe. And that'll save you fucking years of therapy. Like allowing yourself to sink into your body in a state of pleasure will save you so many years of healing. Because it literally, for you to experience pleasure in your soul, in your body, it needs to be calmed. And as you're experiencing that pleasure, your body relaxes and calms more and you're feeling safer. Because you naturally want to experience more pleasure, so you surrender to the pleasure. And this is a soul pleasure. This is not just like the superficial quick fix, like pussy sneeze type shit. This is like the way you fucking live life. The way you bring your eros energy into life. The frequency of your eros, your strength, that sexual energy, but it's not actually just about sex. It's like, that is your creative force, ladies. Anyone who is recovering from purity culture or organized religion, the biggest fuck you can do is own your fucking pleasure. No apologies. Fucking own it. Oh, that is game changer. If you are curious about spiritual stuff, the pleasure state, absolutely, Kate, you know. So yeah, that's a quick update. That was super real and raw, no filter. You can see all my wrinkles. I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna be on an Instagram live later with the freaking epic queerituality henna, and we're gonna talk about spiritual sovereignty. Tough girls. Oh my dear Lord. Kate, I appreciate the example that you are in my life of surrendering this tough girl. You are divine. Mwah, I love you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you.